Hello, Detroit. I'm Jake, formerly Jacob Brown, but I like Jake better. I also like laughing, but that's irrelevant. Again, I'm Jake. Let's get into it. I love design. I'm addicted to brand evolution, allergic to status quo, and I love to learn something new every day. Design is my favorite. I love design. I love fonts. I love typography. Not that one. That one's cool. Detroit, the title of my topic today is going to be Redesign Brands, Redesigned Life. Where am I from? I'm from a small town called Bridgeport, right outside of Saginaw, Michigan. We have a small population of 6,443. You can see my high school from the highway. I graduated with a whopping 150 kids back in 2001. We were the class of 2001. We could play where's Jake, like where's Waldo? I'm right there in the middle, had hair. 17, getting ready to jump into college, had no idea what this world would bring me. This is a small town. You can drive through Bridgeport, hit 3 stoplights, and you're out of it. One of the famous things about our city is this small bridge. We used to go fishing growing up. This is my family. I'm the middle child of 7. I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters. We grew up in a 3-bedroom house. Here we are in 2013. This is the last time we were all together. We're all just spread out, some in Canada, some in New York, some in Columbus, Ohio, but we will all be back together again after this COVID is over. Like I said, we grew up in a 3-bedroom house, 1 bathroom. I Google mapped this, and as you zoom in, you can see a little old lady on the front porch. That's my Aunt Geraldine. And the thing that's so special about Aunt Geraldine is because she's 106 years old. I'm pretty sure one day she'll be in the Guinness Book of Records. Focus, Jake. Look, a squirrel. Okay, back to design. Back to where it all started. Detroit, I grew up drawing. I drew everything, anything I saw, whether it's a human, an animal. I even sat in front of a mirror for an hour and a half and drew myself. I drew myself with my head on Arnold Schwarzenegger's body. Here are some drawings that I did in college with Statue of David, Alicia Keys, and I even drew a guy's brains. Here was one of my first self-portraits of a painting. I used to love this painting until I started showing my friends and they started calling me Damon Wayans from Major Payne. Dwight Eisenhower was the last painting I ever did in college. The reason why he's upside down on one side is because as you are painting or drawing, when you look at something, you're going to look at it and paint it or draw it as you think you see it. But if you flip it upside down, you are forced to paint or draw what is actually there. Same thing with COVID. This year has forced us in 2020 to see who we are for what we are because we're upside down. My dream job growing up was to work at Cedar Point. No, I didn't want to work the roller coasters. I wanted to be a caricature artist. That was my dream job if I did not make it to the NFL. But I had to shift my focus because I understood I wasn't going to make any money that way, right? So I shifted my focus to web design and graphic design, and I started learning how to create shapes in Photoshop and started learning how to create stars and arrows. But guess what? When I learned how to create a gradient, my design game got stepped up. Here's one of my first projects, my art project for the art program. Yes, I understand it sucked, but who cares? Here's one of my posters that I designed for spring 2020. If you look real close, you'll see a font there. My favorite font. No, it's not my favorite font. Papyrus is disgusting. I hope they get rid of it. I hope they burn it. If you've ever seen the SNL skit about Avatar with Ryan Gosling, he was not impressed at all. David Carson, a famous graphic designer, got famous for his magazine design, abstract art with famous typography. I loved his work. Look, I understood that my design sucked. I was just starting out. But who cares? I didn't care. I was going to the NFL, right? Well, I did make it to the NFL, but I was cut right away. But that did not stop me from creating these images of myself being drafted first of every draft for the past 8 years. Every single time I showed my friends and my family and posted it on Facebook, I'd get at least one person that believed that this was real. So what happened next? So after football was over, I had to come home, had to get a job. I started working at this company called Orlicon. Where there I was a coating technician, where I would coat parts that would either create parts that go into cars or parts that went inside cars. I also got a second job at a company called Staples. At Staples, I sold pens. Now, I sold more than just pens. I sold printers, I sold other things. But in the meantime, I started my own web design and graphic design company, and I called it Jacob Brown Designs. Jacob Brown Designs. There I started designing logos for friends, for families, for small businesses. I wanted to gain experience because ultimately I wanted to get in my industry of what I was going to school for, graphic and web design, right? But I had no experience. Not only that, I left college early to go train to play for the NFL. So I didn't even finish my degree. So now I have no experience, I have no degree, but I'm starting to create my own experience through graphic and web design and building logos for these companies. And it was after that that a company called Lee Contracting, after 2 years of doing this, a company called Lee Contracting took a chance on me. And I thank them for taking a chance on me because as soon as they did, my career took off. My career took off. So let's fast forward to 2020. So after about 12 years of being in the industry, going to multiple different companies, working for agencies, working for OEMs, working for large brands, winning awards for the things that I had done, one of my favorite awards was the class of 2015 when I was nominated to be in the 40 under 40 for Oakland County executives. Here I am standing with some amazing people, CEOs, VPs of companies, and there I am in the mix. I felt like I had made it. I felt like I had done all the things I needed to do. There I am right there in the middle. This time I have no hair. I had launched a huge brand, Mahindra, Roxor. We launched only the second largest 3D model configurator online in the world. My team and I designed and built this. We were proud. I was the commencement speaker for the 2017 class for Bridgeport, my alma mater, my high school, and I could not miss the chance to take a selfie in front of that whole crowd. It was fun. I worked on things for General Motors, designing the next phase of infotainment, working on the Hummer EV, and even the crab mode that they're getting ready to launch. Then COVID hit. It seemed like the whole world stood still. But I couldn't stand still, not my mind. Remember the squirrel? I had to do something. I had to build something. I had to figure out how I could better myself through this period of time. So then I started seeing that these large companies were redesigning their logos. Pepsi, Dunkin' Donuts, Animal Planet. What did I do? I said, I can do that too. Whether it be for fun or not, I can do that too. So I started redesigning logos like Gatorade, like LinkedIn. I started sharing these things on Facebook, started sharing them with my friends, with my family. And there were even some controversial ones like the United States Postal Service. People are like, you can't redesign that. You can't do that. But I didn't care. I was doing it for fun. I didn't need their approval. Nationwide, they're on your side. NASA was another one. People could not believe that I was redesigning the NASA logo. But I did. Even Nikon started digging a little deeper, showing what the application could be on a website. Oreo, everybody loves cookies, right? So I designed the Oreo logo, put my own spin on it. The T-Mobile logo, which was one of my favorite of the bunch. Redesigned the T-Mobile logo, went inside T-Mobile, and the people that were working behind the counter as I'm getting a new phone, they asked me what I do. I'm like, I design logos, design websites. I'm the creative manager for a large RV company. And in fact, I just redesigned your logo. They're like, what are you talking about? And I showed them. They're like, you gotta show the CEO of the company. Tweet him. So that night, I tweeted him. I showed him the logo I did. And within an hour, he responded back with clapping hands. That to me was enough to know that I was on the right track and doing the right thing. So what does this mean? Why would anybody care about any of this? Like I said, during COVID, we had a chance to think about our lives. The world stood still. We had a chance to either better ourselves or to go backwards or go forward. I chose to go forward and move forward. But even in that, I realized that redesigning those logos weren't just logos that I was redesigning. I was also putting that application into my real life. Because sometimes you have to redesign your life. And I know that I've redesigned my life these past 12 to 15 years. I know I've done it over and over and over again. My personal life. I didn't know when I was a 10-year-old playing football that I wasn't going to play football for the rest of my life. I thought I was going to go to the NFL, retire, hopefully be able to walk after, but I had no idea that this was going to be one of my last football games I'd ever play. This is senior night at Central Michigan. And I've got 2 parents there that supported me throughout my whole career. Never missed a football game. They only missed 1 football game my whole career. And that was because it was my brother's wedding. Sorry, Dave. They showed me how to fail forward. I had to redesign my life with my own family. About 8 years ago, I got divorced. Got remarried 3 years later. I had to redesign my life, redesign the way that I lived, redesign the way that I treated my family. I love my wife, Kimberly. I love my children, Caden, Connor, Noah, and August. They are helping me redesign who I am and what I am. My friends, I've redesigned my friendships. They're helping to redesign my thinking as a man. I'm helping to redesign their thinking as men. I've redesigned my career. I had no idea that I would be the creative manager for one of the largest RV dealerships in the world, and also turn out to be one of the spokesmen for the company. Redesign your life and be unapologetic about it. Thank you, Detroit. I'm Jake. Fail forward.